بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا وهدى وتقى ورشادا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم فقهنا في الدين وعلمنا التأويل. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع ومن قلب لا يخشع ومن نفس لا تشبع ومن دعوة لا تسمع. نعوذ بك اللهم من هؤلاء الأربعة. أما بعد، فحياكم الله جميعا في الدرس السادس عشر في شرح مختصر النحو المفيد للمبتدئ فيه والمعيد. وقفنا في الدرس الماضي عند أنواع الحروف. Types of حروف. Types of نعم حروف is يعني we cannot translate it as letters because it's not necessarily letters. يعني حروف are of two types. There are we name them as, in Arabic we call them the alphabets. They are called as حروف الحروف, or you can just say حروف الهجاء. حروف الهجاء is the word for alphabets. حروف الهجاء. These are alphabets. And these huruf that we are discussing here, they are called huruf al-ma'ani. So maybe we can, in English, maybe we can call them articles, I guess, maybe. Allahu alam. But these include yani, prepositions, include conjunctions, include other things as well. So it's more of yani, exclusive to Arabic. So harf is anything that is not an ism or nor a fi'l. Just a quick review of what we have gone through so far. First of all, we said that Nahw is a science that deals with two things. What are the two things that Nahw studies, ya ikhwan? Nahw, the science of Nahw, studies two things. What are those two things that Nahw studies?
The ending of the words and structure of the sentence.
The endings of the words, how the words end, and the structure of the sentence. So we were in the first part of Nahw, that was how the words end. And in order to know that, we had to first learn the different types of words, and then of course we will learn how they change their endings. So we learned that kalima is ism fi'l harf. We learned that ism can be mu'arab and can be mabni, yani meaning that it can be it's changeable, and some of them are fixed at in a particular shape and scale, and those are called mabni. In order to learn all of this and learn also the other things that would be helpful to us in Nahw with regards to ism, we learned 5 classifications. We said that ism can be mudhakkar or muannath. We said that an ism can be mufrad or muthanna or jam'. Then we said that an ism can be ma'rifa or nakira. Then we said that an ism can be mu'rab or mabni. And then finally, we said that ism mu'rab can be sahih al-akhir or mu'tal al-akhir or mudaf ila ya al-mutakallim. Then we moved on to the fi'l and the classifications of fi'l that are going to be of relevance to us in the science of Nahw. So we learned that the fi'l can be madi, mudari, and amr. And within the same mabhath, we learned that the fi'l madi is always mabni, the fi'l amr is always mabni as well, and it's the fi'l mudari that changes with the change مثلا in the awamil or in its al-mawqi' al-i'rabi. After having learned this, then we moved on to learn that the fi'l mudari, which is mu'rab, which changes, we examined how it changes or what are the different types of changes that occur in a fi'l mudari. And in order to know that, we learned another classification, and that was that a fi'l mudari can be sahih al-akhir or mu'tal al-akhir, or it can be one of al-af'al al-khamsa. And through this, we learned how a fi'l mudari undergoes a change with the change in its awamil or in its mawqi' i'rabi. Then, ya ikhwan, we learned finally that a fi'l can be mabni lil-ma'lum and mabni lil-majhul, active and passive, and how to derive the active fi'l and the passive fi'l. After all of this, we moved on to the last type of the kalima. The last type of kalima was harf. We were done with ism and fi'l, and now we are studying harf. So we said that the first, and there are a lot of types of huruf, all of which are mabni. And the first type that we learned was huruf al-jarri, which are prepositions. These huruf al-jar cause the ism after them to become majroor. So each one of them, each one of these, if they occur before an ism, then the ism after it will be majroor. Majroor, yani it will be in the state of jar. It will be in the state of jar. So مثلا min Allah ذي المعارج إلى الله المصير إلى الله. You see, min Allah إلى الله مثلا عن رب العالمين ربي. You see, all of the asma that occur after a harf jar, if you look into the Quran everywhere, and you will find it in the state of jar. You will find it majroor. You will find it majroor in the state of jar. طيب. We mentioned here the different meanings of these huruf al-jar, and we also mentioned a little bit about the huruf al-qasam, the huruf that are used to swear by someone, whether it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or anyone else besides Allah, even though it is not permissible, but this is part of the language. Naam. So wallahi wa billahi wa tallahi. Then we mentioned something specific about the ta that can only be used with the name Allah or with the name Rabbil Ka'ba or Rabbi Kada. Ta Rabbil Ka'ba or ta Rabbi with the ism Rabbi. Yani. So this was what we had discussed in the last class. We also discussed huruf al-atf, which are the conjunctions al-waw wal-fa thumma aw bal la hatta walakin. And we discussed with regards to and aw that they are both of the same meaning, except that can be used with both if you're asking a question, and it can be used with both with the hamza or with the hal, and aw should only be used with the hal. We also discussed hatta, and we discussed how hatta, when it is one of the huruf al-jar, it means until, and when it is one of the huruf al-atf, it means even. Even in the sense that even, and we gave the example, مثلا, and this is a very famous example that they give. And they always tell us to explain the meaning of the sentence with the change in the haraka. So when they say, if you say akaltu samakata, hatta you say hatta ra'saha hatta ra'siha. They ask us what is the difference in the meaning of the two if you put a dhamma, if you put a fatha, or if you put a kasra. So we tell them that if we put a fatha, that means here, if you put a fatha, that means hatta is being used as a harf atf, because harf atf means that the same ruling will pass on to the next word. But then you will say jaa zaydun wa amrun wa bakrun. So the same ruling, rafa passes on to the next word. Likewise, مثلا رأيت زيدا وعمرا وبكرا. So the same ruling, nasb passes on to the next one. So here, because this was mansoob, and this also became mansoob, it's also mansoob. So we say that this here hatta is being used as a harf atf. It's being used as a harf atf. Now, if it's being used as a conjunction, then the meaning of the sentence will be, I ate the fish, even its head. And I ate the whole of the fish, even its head, I ate it. And if you put a kasra, then you know that it is from harf atf or harf jar.
Harf jar.
If you put a kasra, that means then the hatta is a harf jar. If it is a harf jar, then it means until. So it will, the sentence then it will be translated as, I ate the fish until its head. I did not eat the head. I only ate it until the head. The head I left it without eating it. So this is a bit of fun that we have with hatta. طيب. So huruf al-atf, let me just clarify it to you once more. We said that huruf al-jar, they make the ism majroor. They make the ism, huruf al-jarri تجر الاسم. وأما حروف العطف فتنقل حكم المعطوف عليه. Whenever you use these conjunctions, this is called حرف عطف, right? So مثلا if you are saying that رأيت زيدا وعمرا, رأيت زيدا وعمرا. So what happens is that the first word, the word that is before the conjunction, that's called معطوف عليه, and the word that is after the conjunction is called معطوف. So what do these حروف العطف do? They transfer the same ruling to the معطوف, the same ruling of the معطوف عليه. So تنقل حكم المعطوف عليه إلى المعطوف. They transfer the ruling of the معطوف عليه to the معطوف, يعني the one that is mentioned after the conjunction. So if you have one word that is mansub, then all of the words after conjunctions will all be mansub. رأيت زيدا وعمرا وبكرا ومسعدا ومحمدا يعني وإيش يعني وعليا وأبا بكر يعني إلى آخر ذلك. You see? So it will all of the words after the conjunction, they will all be mansub. If the word before the conjunction was مثلا مرفوع, then all of the words after it will be مرفوع. جاء زيد وبكر وعمر ومحمد وأحمد ومسعد وعلي وأبو بكر وويس وإلى آخر ذلك. All of them will be مرفوع. And if the word before the conjunction was majrur, then all of the words that are used after it will be majrur. So you can say مررت بزيد وعمر وبكر ومحمد وأحمد ومسعد وأبي بكر وعلي وويس وإلى آخر ذلك من الأمر. نعم. So this is the function of حروف العطف. What does it do? It takes the same ruling of the word that is before it, and it transfers that ruling to the words after it. So after all the words after it, they will have the same ruling as it. So, and this will inshallah become more clear and evident when we study the second section of the book of Nahw that is related to the Jumla. طيب. الآن يا إخوان ننتقل بارك الله فيكم إلى حروف النصب. طيب, looking at the title حروف النصب, what do you think this is?
They just make the word preceding it mansub, rather following it.
Following, أحسن. They make the word succeeding it or following it, they make it mansub. They make the word after it mansub. And which words do they make mansub? They are the af'al. حروف النصب are for the af'al. These, what do they do? These four, they make the fi'l after them mansub. Yes. طيب, كيف, which فعل will they make mansub?
فعل مضارع.
فعل مضارع. Why not فعل ماضي or فعل أمر?
Because they are مبني.
They are مبني. أحسنت بارك الله فيك. الله يفتح عليك. طيب, إذن they make فعل مضارع after it منصوب. طيب, inshallah we will take examples of this in بإذن الله تعالى in detail, especially when we are done with this. I will share with you a book, a very beneficial book that is called as an-Nahw التطبيقي. an-Nahw التطبيقي, يعني applied نحو, you can say. an-Nahw التطبيقي. And what does the muallif do here? يعني it's and he gives مثلا يعني the theory mentioned in the book is also quite expensive. It's not as concise as in our book, but what it does is that book gives you lots of exercises. It gives you lots of examples from the Quran and Sunnah. So what happens is that because Quran is easier, it's, yeah, you know, people, all of them are familiar with the Quran as compared to some other Arabic texts. So what happens is that it's very easy for you to understand a concept or understand its يعني application. So an-Nahw at-Tatbiqi, I will share it with you inshallah, and that's the book we are going to be practicing from inshallah. So we're going to choose exercises from that book, and then inshallah we're going to apply what we have learned so far بإذن ta'ala. So but just for you to get an idea of what we are talking about, مثلا أن لن إذن كي, these are the 4 حروف النصب that make the فعل منصوب, There are other حروف as well, but they in reality are not the ones that make the فعل منصوب, and that is why we only initially they only make you learn 4, even though there are more than 4 practically speaking. But when they dive deep into the technicalities, they say no, it's not actually this letter that's making it making the fi'l mansoob. There's another hidden letter behind it that's making it mansoob. I will inshallah explain this to you. First of all, an. مثلا, give me any ayah from the Quran which has an, not anna, only an with the fi'l mudari'. Anna is different to an.
أن تقولوا إنما أنزل الكتاب على طائفتين من قبلنا وإن كنا عن دراستهم لغافلين.
أن تقولوا. طيب, what did أن do here? Did it make the fi'l after it mansoob or not?
It's made it mansoob by
What is the
clearing
alama?
noon.
This was one of the af'al al-khamsa, and the alama of nasb here was the hadf al-noon. There is no noon anymore here. أن تقول, instead of saying أن تقولون, أن تقول. مثلا كذلك عندنا ولن يجعل الله للكافرين على المؤمنين سبيلا. ولن يجعل الله. What happened here? Did the lan make yaj'ala mansoob or not?
It's made it mansoob.
Ahsantum. And what's the alama of nasb here?
And the fatha.
The fatha, because it's a fi'l that is صحيح
الآخر.
صحيح الآخر. أحسنتم. طيب, كذلك مثلا عندنا لكي لا يكون على المؤمنين حرج. Let me write it this way. It's not written perhaps in the Quran in this way, because as I told you before, the Rasm Uthmani is a little different to what we usually use. لكي لا يكون على المؤمنين حرج. So we have a kay here. Did kay do anything here? Did it make any fi'l mansoob? Did kay أحسنت
يكون منصوب.
أحسنت. يكون became يكون. طيب, it's what type of فعل مضارع is it? صحيح الآخر, معتل الآخر, ومن الأفعال الخمسة؟
صحيح الآخر.
صحيح الآخر. أحسنت. That's why the علامة of رفع is فتحة. علامة of نصب is فتحة. And with regards to إذن, we don't have an example of إذن making something mansoob in the Quran. إذن is a very, it makes the word mansoob in a very particular context. It has a lot of shurut with it. So that's why not to go into it right now. It's very specific when it makes fi'l mansoob. Generally it does not. It's only when you are talking about the future and إذن is the first word that you're using in the sentence. And مثلا if I say to someone that I will come to your home, I will come to your house inshallah in a couple of days. So he says to me, إذن أكرمك, I will honor you. So now he is using إذن as an answer to, or as a response. He's the first word in the sentence is idhan, but that's only when it will make the fi'l mansoob. So there are a lot of shurut with regards to it. طيب. First of all, after having taken some of the examples from the Quran, what is the meaning of an, ya ikhwan? What does an mean?
So that
Ahsant. That. You can translate it as that. That. يعني مثلا, if I say in Arabic, أحب أن تجلس, that I like that you sit. I like that you sit. يعني I like you to sit. You see, so that. كذلك مثلا we can say, for any simple examples, يعني مثلا تقول and sometimes it can also be used in the meaning of two. مثلا you say أريد أن أذهب. So you can say أريد يعني I want to go. I want to go, or I want that I want to go. I want that I go. So it can use the meaning of that or two. كذلك مثلا تقول أحب أن أصوم. I like that or I like to fast. وهكذا. طيب. لن. إيش معنى لن يا إخوان؟
Will not.
Will not. ممتاز جدا. Just put it as it is. Will not. So مثلا ولن يجعل الله, any other example of لن يا إخوان, مثلا the Banu Israel said لن نؤمن لك حتى نرى الله جهرة. They said we will not believe you. لن نؤمن لك. We will not believe in you. We will not believe in you. So لن means will not. أحسنت. What's the meaning of كي يا إخوان? نعم تفضل. تفضل يا.
sorry. With regards to lan, there is an understanding that it means never, or will never, or like, something that shows like impossibility of something happening in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct? Or like
No,
it's just that it will not happen, or rather it will never happen?
No, it's just that it will not, and then it depends on the context, whether you mean it forever or you mean it for temporarily. I'll come to this inshallah. One second. It's actually this one was attributed to one of the imams of Mu'tazila, az-Zamakhshari. It's attributed to him, but it's not necessarily his speech or his statement can be interpreted differently, but it's generally, famously, you can say, more famously, it is attributed to az-Zamakhshari. Az-Zamakhshari, that he says that lan means forever. Why? Because the Mu'tazila, they have this aqidah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot be seen. They have this aqidah that Allah cannot be seen, and they deny the fact that the believers will be able to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the akhirah. So now, using lan in the sense that you cannot see me forever, it's in their maslaha, it's in their interests. So what did they do? They said that the ayah related to Musa alayhi salam's conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah said to Musa, لن تراني, لن تراني, you will not see me, ولكن انظر إلى الجبل فإن استقر مكانه فسوف تراني. لن تراني, you will not see me, but if you قال لن تراني ولكن انظر إلى الجبل, but look at the mountain. فإن استقر مكانه, if it remains steadfast in its place, فسوف تراني, only then will you be able to see me. فلما تجلى ربه للجبل جعله دكا وخر موسى صاعقا. So, but what happened was that the mountain could not remain steadfast in its place, and جعله دكا, it became into, it was crushed. The mountain was crushed, and وخر موسى صاعقا, and Musa passed out. فلما أفاق قال سبحانك تبت إليك وأنا يا أبا بكر وأنا من المسلمين
أنا أول المؤمنين.
وأنا أول المؤمنين. أول المؤمنين. طيب الآن هنا لن تراني is, they want to use this ayah to support their aqidah that Allah cannot be seen in the akhirah. Ahlul Sunnah, they believe that one of the greatest rewards that we will get, as we learned in A'lam al-Sunnah Manshura, that one of the greatest bliss of Jannah is to look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be able to look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now why do Mu'tazila, they deny this? They deny it because they want to deny that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is above the arsh. So they say that if someone, something or someone can be seen, that means he is in a particular direction, and they want to deny that Allah is above. They want to say that Allah is everywhere, the aqidah. So they don't want to say that Allah is above us. So if you say that if something can be seen, it means it is in a particular direction, that means that they will have to affirm the exaltedness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So because it was in their interest to interpret lan as never, ever, so they said that lan here in this ayah means you will never ever see me. Whereas it is this is not true. The true what's true about lan is that it depends on the context. It depends on the context. Sometimes yes, lan can be used for never ever, and sometimes it just means temporarily not. You will not do so in the near future. Maybe later on you can. So just like in this ayah, if you look at the ayah, لن تراني ولكن انظر إلى الجبل فإن استقر مكانه فسوف تراني. Allah says لن تراني, and then he mentions a possibility of Musa seeing him if the mountain remains steadfast in its place. If Allah wanted to say لن تراني, that I am not seeable, like you cannot see me in the first place, then he wouldn't have mentioned this possibility. What if the Jabal remained mustaqir and it remained steadfast in its place? What then? And that means that Musa would have seen Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means that is possible. And that means in the akhirah, the hadith, all of the ahadith that tell us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be seen in the akhirah, they are ahadith that they are in accordance with Quran and Sunnah. طبعا Mu'tazila, they don't care about ahadith. They say خلاص ahadith, they are all akhbar ahad, they are all rejected. So all they care about is they say the nas of the Quran. And even the nas of the Quran, when it comes to the interpretation, they play around with it. Al-Muhim, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there are several adillah that go on to show that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be seen by the believers in the akhirah. And لِلَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا الْحُسْنَى وَزِيَادَةً. لِلَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا الْحُسْنَى وَزِيَادَةً. It has been mentioned in the tafsir of this ayah that those people who have done good, they will have al-husna and wa-ziyada. Al-husna refers, wallahu alam, to Jannah, and ziyada, wallahu alam, it refers to the the vision, to seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So all of this is mentioned in the ahadith of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the true opinion with regards to lan is that lan does not mean never ever. It depends on the context. It can at times mean never ever, and at times can only mean that a negation for the near future, temporary. Wallahu a'lam. However, what is attributed to Zamakhshari it is not necessarily what he intended. Maybe يعني we can interpret his kalam in a better way, but famously people, they say, all of them, that Zamakhshari is the one who says that lan means never ever. طيب ما معنى كي يا إخوان؟
That.
So that يعني here you can say it is for تعليل. تعليل means it is for يعني mentioning the reason of something. So that مثلا ذهبت إلى المدرسة كي أتعلم. So that I learn. So that here is being used to mention a reason why you're doing something. It's for a reason. So كي here is called تعليل. It's called تعليل. تعليل means mentioning an علة. And علة means mentioning يعني a reason why you're doing something. كي نسبحك كثيرا. يعني مثلا from the Quran, Brother always mentioned the ayah كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا. يعني الآن هارون عليه السلام and موسى عليه السلام, they are saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala كي نسبحك كثيرا. ونذكرك كثيرا. So how will we translate this ayah? كي نسبحك كثيرا. كي نسبحك. So that we can glorify you.
So that we can glorify you.
In abundance. Plentifully. أحسنتم. كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا. And how will you translate the other ayah after it? ونذكرك كثيرا, so that we remember you, and so that we remember you in abundance or plentifully. طيب السؤال هنا يا إخوان, what did كي do in this sentence, in this whole, these two sentences? What did كي do here? What did it make mansub? And where is that alama of nasb? نسبح, it made it mansub. What is the alama of nasb? أيوة نسبح. What about نذكرك? Why is this mansub? Something that أيوة exactly, it was معطوف. معطوف because of عطف. So this حرف عطف, it takes this ruling and transfers it to the next فعل as well. So it made نذكرك also منصوب. كي نسبح وكي نذكر. And if you mention أفعال one after another for 1,000 lines, all of them would have been منصوب. كي نسبح ونذكر ونعبد ونستعين ونحمد ونثني إلى آخر ذلك. All of it would be منصوب as long as you are using the عطف for نسبح. نسبح, كي نسبح ونذكر, all of them are منصوب. It's being transferred. طيب ممتاز جدا. Okay. وما معنى إذن؟
Can you say then?
Sorry, I say it again, please.
Then.
Or you can say hence.
Hence.
Or you can say مثلا thus. إذن. Hence كذا, thus كذا, or مثلا subsequently كذا وهكذا. إذن. طيب هذه معاني هذه الحروف. وإن شاء الله مع التطبيق with application إن شاء الله all of this will become very much clear to you بإذن الله تعالى. But first we just want to go through them once, and then inshallah we can use يعني some examples of آيات بإذن الله تعالى. طيب ننتقل الآن إلى حروف الجزم. What are حروف الجزم by its name؟ يعني what do you think it seems to be?
And the ones that will make the فعل مضارع after it مجزوم.
ممتاز جدا. The ones that will make the فعل مضارع after it مجزوم. Why didn't you mention فعل ماضي and فعل أمر؟
Because they are مبني.
أحسنت. حروف الجزم are the ones that make فعل مضارع after it to be مجزوم. طيب, we have a few here. One of them is لم, لما, and we'll inshallah comment on each one of them. ولام الأمر, ولا الناهية, وإن الشرطية. طيب. First of all, لم. What's the meaning of لم?
Did not.
أحسنت. لم means did not. طيب. Did not. So مثلا in the Quran we have لم يلد ولم يولد. طيب, ما معنى هذه الآية؟
He did not beget, nor was he begotten.
أحسنت. He did not beget. And just to make the meaning of lam more clear, let's just translate for now. And he did not get begotten. And even though this is not the most eloquent of translations, but just to emphasize on the meaning of lam. Did not. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He did not give birth or beget a child, nor was he given birth, or nor was he begot. طيب, لم يلد ولم يولد. كذلك عندنا ايش يا اخوان؟ any ayah that has lam in it.
In Surah Al-Talaq, talking about the women that واللائي يئسن من المحيض من نسائكم إن اتركتم فعدتهن 3 أشهر واللائي لم يحضن.
واللائي لم يحضن. طيب, واللائي صح ولا اللاتي؟ واللائي. واللائي لم يحضن. طيب. واللائي يئسن من المحيض من نسائكم إن ارتبتم فعدتهن 3 أشهر واللائي لم يحضن. يعني those women who do not have their menses anymore, if they are divorced, then their iddah is 3 months. And likewise, the iddah of those women who haven't yet had their first menses. And we'll come to this inshallah. واللائي لم يحضن. طيب, الآن لم is used. So ما معنى لم here? واللائي يعني and those, and this is the مؤنث of الذين. واللائي is the مؤنث of الذين. فما معنى لم here? نعم, تفضل يا أخي أبا بكر.
Yes, I want to answer the question and then use this opportunity to ask another question, although it
ما
may
في
not be
إشكال.
related to
ما في
this.
إشكال.
So
تفضل.
regarding the interpretation of this verse, so some people try to bring some sort of misconceptions or doubts, try to use this section of the verse since it talks about women that have not yet seen their menses. So I just wanted to seek more clarification on how to
ما في إشكال. First, inshallah, we will discuss the meaning of lam here and the alama of jazm or the jazm that it has caused. Then, inshallah, we'll come to your question. So, lam means here. What does it mean here, ya ikhwan? And those who did not or have not yet have had their menses. طيب لم, of course we know that it makes the فعل مضارع after it مجزوم. Do you think that this فعل مضارع after it, is it مجزوم?
It's not, because of it's mabni due to nun al-niswa.
ممتاز جدا. Because it is attached with نون النسوة, it is مبني. Hence the alam of jazm will not appear. Whether it is in the marfu' state or mansub state or manzum state, it always will be yahidna, yahidna, yahidna. So this sukoon here, the sukoon is not an alama of jazm. The sukoon is not an alama of jazm. And coming to the other question, that is with regards to those women who haven't yet had their menses, كيف واحد يتصور how can she be divorced, or how can she have to observe the iddah? So the answer to this is, Wallahu a'lam, that in the Sharia, it is not impermissible. It is not impermissible, essentially and principally speaking, it's not impermissible to marry a minor, in the sense who a child who hasn't yet reached puberty. Rather, the qaida of the Sharia is la darara wa la dirar. There should be nothing that causes harm. If there is a chance, a possibility that this would be harmful, or the man who is marrying this child is not responsible enough, or he is not, he's someone who is not very, you can say, careful with regards to these matters, then in this case, it will be of course, this is because of then maslaha mursala, because of the mafsada that there will be if the child is married after this man, this marriage will be avoided. But principally speaking, there is no harm in child marriage, and the consummation can even be done before the child reaches the puberty, in the sense that if she hasn't had her menses. On the other hand, the iddah is not just made obligatory due to intercourse. Even if there has been khalwa, and khalwa means if a man is alone with a woman, after having after having done their nikah and their aqd, if the man is alone with a woman, then the man divorces his wife. In this case as well, there will be iddah upon the woman, even if they haven't had any intercourse, but there was khalwa, they have been alone in a place where it is possible, or it was possible for them to have engaged in such a relation, then the iddah would also be wajib. Now, people might say, first, right now we, being amongst Muslims, we are talking from in a way that we would address ourselves as Muslims. So, talking to Muslims, you would say that, why should there be eyebrows raised if a man gets married to a child? إيش المشكلة فيها? She might reach her puberty after a year or two. The eyebrows are raised because of us being very much influenced by the Western ideologies, and because of the term that is known as pedophilia. Pedophilia is when I guess it involves, it is when an adult rapes a child, perhaps. But here العبرة ليست ب here no one is forcing the other, and the child has her wali, and wali is marrying off the child. So لا حرج في هذا. And this was something I had asked my Sheikh Abdul Aziz Ali, Sheikh who was the faqih of our university, Hafidahullah, and he said that there is no haraj in a child being married off to an adult. The only thing that must be taken into consideration is the qaida of the Sharia, la darara wa la dirar. There should not be any affliction of harm. So if there is a high chance of the child being harmed, of course, then this would not be this sort of a decision would not be undertaken. But otherwise يعني من حيث الأصل يعني talking in terms of يعني principally speaking or speaking يعني of the what the ruling of the Sharia would be, then in this case والله أعلم there should be no حرج والله أعلم والله أعلم. But I still need to look into this مسألة a little bit more, just for us or all of us to be يعني more content إن شاء الله with regards to it بإذن الله تعالى. طيب الآن نأتي إلى لما what is the meaning of لما يا إخوان؟ لما is just
When?
like لما no that one is different. That one is not حرف جزم. The لما that is not used in that is used in the meaning of when يعني لما آتيك أو لما يعني ولما جاء بالبينات ولما جاءهم بالبينات, the one that is used in the meaning of when, it is not one of the حروف الجزم. But لما, the one that is used in حرف جزم, is as brother always mentioned, did not until here it's the same, but you just add to it yet. مثلا Allah says in the Quran ولما يدخل الإيمان في قلوبكم, to the Bedouins, the Iman hasn't yet entered your hearts, hasn't yet. يعني قالت الأعراب آمنا, the Arab said that we have believed, we are مؤمنون. قل لم تؤمنوا, tell them that you haven't yet believed, in the sense that Iman, you haven't yet become a mu'min. قل لم تؤمنوا ولكن قولوا أسلمنا, rather say that we have accepted Islam, we have entered Islam. ولما يدخل الإيمان في قلوبكم, and the Iman hasn't yet entered your heart. طيب كذلك لما is a number of places. ولما يعلم الله الذين جاهدوا منكم ويعلم الصابرين. So Allah hasn't yet known the people who have waged jihad from amongst you. ولما يأتكم ايش الآية يا أبو بكر؟ ولما يأتكم
No, actually, I can't recall the.
سبحان الله. Let me just, this is آية.
ولما يأتكم مثل الذين خلوا من قبلكم.
أي نعم هذا ظاهر.
المأساة والضراء.
أيوة ولما يأتكم مثل الذين من قبلكم مستهم البأساء والضراء وزلزلوا حتى يقول الرسول والذين آمنوا معه متى نصر الله ألا إن نصر الله قريب. So what is this ayah mentioning? It's mentioning that ولما يأتكم يعني it hasn't yet come to you. What hasn't yet come to you? What يعني afflictions and calamities similar to what had come to people before you. So you haven't yet experienced that. So this is the meaning of لما when it is used as a حرف جزم. So ولما يدخل الإيمان في قلوبكم, just to ask you this question, لما, what فعل did it make مجزوم in this ayah?
يدخلوا.
يدخل, أحسنت. طيب it's this فعل that was made مجزوم. طيب where is the علامة of جزم here?
Now doesn't use sukun, but there's another special case because there's two sukun when they met, so it was changed to dhamma.
أحسنت بارك الله فيك. See, the alama of jazm was actually a sukun. What happened here, that yadkhul has a sukun, next word, first letter has a sukun. So we were forced to give the lam a haraka. So we give it a haraka with a kasra. وَلَمَّا يَدْخُلِ الْإِيمَانُ. So the alama of jazm itself is a sukun. But the sukun has been, yani this haraka has been changed, and this letter has been given a haraka, that is kasra, because in order to avoid two sakins meeting together. طيب أحسنت بارك الله فيك. طيب لام الأمر. لام الأمر. Can someone give me an example of لام الأمر, or what is لام الأمر in the first place? What is أمر?
Command.
Command. أحسنت. Lam of the command. So the lam that is used to command. Any examples of lam al-amr from the Quran, يا إخوان? يقول الله عز وجل لينفق ذو سعة من سعته. لينفق ذو سعة. لينفق. طيب. What is the meaning of ينفق يا إخوان?
Spend.
Spend. What will be the meaning of لينفق?
Let him spend.
أحسنت. ممتاز. He should spend. Let him spend. It's a command for him to spend. Who? The one who has يعني abundance in his wealth, who has plentiful wealth, means ذو ساعة من ساعته ومن قدر عليه رزقه, and the one who doesn't have يعني رزق in abundance and his rizq has been made tight. قدر عليه رزقه فلينفق مما آتاه الله. فلينفق مما آتاه الله. He should spend. He let him spend. He should spend from what Allah has given him. فلينفق. طيب الآن السؤال يا إخوان. What did the lamb do here in both of the ayahs? Or in both of the sentences?
It made the fi'l majzoom.
أحسنت. And what was the alama of jazm here?
The sukun itself.
أحسنت. بارك الله فيكم. بارك الله فيكم. Another one of the examples of lam al-amr can be مثلا شهر فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي. Allah says in the Quran فليستجيبوا لي after the ayat of Ramadan. استغفر الله, I'm writing here. فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي. Istajaba means to respond to Allah's call and to respond to what Allah has commanded. فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي. طيب, so what's the mean? What did the lam al-amr do here يا إخوان? In فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا
made it majzoom.
Made it majzoom. And what was the alam of jazm here?
The noon يستجيبون.
حذف النون. حذف النون. أحسنت. وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا. ماذا حصل هنا? What did the lam do here? It made it majzoom. The alam of jazm here is again
حذف النون.
حذف النون. إذن فليستجيبوا, they must respond, they should, let them respond, let them يعني نعم. وليؤمنوا, let them believe, or they must believe, وهكذا. طيب الآن عندنا شيء اسمه لا الناهية. What do you think لا الناهية is by looking at its name?
Lam of prohibition.
لا of prohibition. The prohibiting لا. أحسنت. The لا of prohibition. أحسنت. بارك الله فيك. طيب مثال لا of prohibition from the Quran.
لا تقربوا الصلاة.
نعم. لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى. طيب let's take an ayah that we can يعني مثلا ولا تأكلوا أموال ولا تأكلوا. طيب أموالكم بينكم بالباطل. طيب ما معنى okay, what did the law of prohibition do here?
تأكلون مجزوم. تأكلون. بدل تأكلون.
أحسنت. And the علامة of jazm is
حذف النون.
ممتاز جدا.
Another verse
طيب.
in Surah Al-An'am.
هات الآية. نعم.
I think there are more examples. قل تعالوا أتل ما حرم ربكم عليكم ألا تشركوا به شيئا
أحسنت. ألا تشركوا. But ألا تشركوا is not يعني.
إحسانا ولا تقتلوا أولادكم من
أحسنت.
إملاق نحن نرزقكم وإياهم ولا تقربوا الفواحش
ولا تقتلوا أولادكم من إملاق. ولا تقتلوا. طيب نفس الشيء. What happened here? The تقتلوا was made مجزوم by the law of prohibition. And what was the علامة of جزم? جزم was حذف النون. طيب نأتي إلى مثلا أريد فعل مفرد. or مثلا Allah says in the Quran
ولا تقف ما ليس
ولا تقف ما ليس لك به علم. أحسنت. Do not go after what you don't have knowledge of, and do not speak, يعني do not proclaim what you don't have knowledge of. ولا تقف. قف يقف means to follow something. ولا تقف ما ليس لك به علم. طيب this one is difficult. قف يقف ولا تقف. طيب what did the la do here? It made the حذف حرف العلة. أحسنت. It made the تقف مجزوم and the علامة of جزم was حذف حرف العلة. أحسنت. طيب كذلك عندنا لحظة. just give me 1 second. بارك الله فيك. طيب another one of the examples that was mentioned was that by brother Uwais that he mentioned in the chat. He said يا بني لا تشرك بالله. Do not commit shirk with Allah. So what did the la do here يا اخوان?
maybe verb تشرك مجزوم.
أحسنت. and what's the علامة of جزم?
السكون.
خلاص ممتاز. أما in الشرطية this one means if. in الشرطية معناها if, and it's used مثلا يعني الله سبحانه وتعالى وإن تشكروا يرضه لكم. وإن تشكروا يرضه لكم. If you are thankful and grateful to Allah, then Allah will be pleased with you, and Allah is pleased with this act of yours. So it also makes the fi'l majzum. But this in a shartiyya, how it works and what are its sharayat, all of this will be learnt in detail when we come to, inshallah, the the jawazim of the fi'l mudari', which all of these nawasib and jawazim, we will be learning them in detail. So don't be bothered right now. Right now we just did it for you to just have an idea, an introduction to what these nawasib and jawazim are. We are going to learn them in detail and with the examples inshallah when we come to the jumla inshallah بإذن الله تعالى. طيب الآن عندنا شيء اسمه الحروف الناسخة. What is حروف ناسخة? حروف ناسخة يا إخوان, I'll give you an idea because this is also going to be done in the إعراب الفعل المضارع. That's a chapter inshallah that where we will be learning soon inshallah in the second part of the Nahw book. حروف الناسخة, نسخ means abrogation, right? Any cancellation, cancel. So these حروف, what do? They cancel the mubtada khabar and they sort of have their own effect. So يعني these إن أن كأن لكن ليت لعل, they make their اسم, they make the مبتدا, something that was the مبتدا, they make it منصوب, and they make the khabar marfu'. But right now we don't even exactly know what mubtada is. We don't know what khabar is. So once we learn that, inshallah, we will be bidnillahi ta'ala explaining this as well. Huruf masdariya. Masdar means verbal noun or gerund. And these are also, they يعني, they combine with the fi'l to give you the meaning of a masdar, to give you the meaning of a verbal noun. Like I mentioned مثلا previously, يعني أن تصوم أو أن تصوم, it means صومك, يعني that you fast, it means the same as your fast. وهكذا, but inshallah all of this will be explained later on. Then we have حروف النداء. الحروف النداء are the ones that are used to call someone. يا فلان, يا فلان, هيا, أي, همزة, all of these are حروف النداء. One of the most commonly used حروف النداء is يا, أي, and hamza in the hadith and in the Quran. And you will find ya very often in the Quran, and hamza and ay also very often in the Quran, in the hadith. Hamza and ay you will find, especially ay, you will find very often in the hadith. حروف النداء. So out of these حروف النداء, just pay attention to ya, ay, and hamza. Hamza means يعني هكذا. طيب. And here I would like to give you one faida, and that is that you would notice that sometimes we say, and this is very much evident when we listed the huruf al-jar. Sometimes we write the whole thing, min, ila, an, ala, fi, rubba, and sometimes we write the name of the letter, kaf, ba, lam, instead of saying ka, bi, li, right? Then here in waw al-qasam, we said al-waw instead of saying wa, because in wallah, you don't say wa wallah, you say wallah, you just say wa, right? But when we mention it, we say al-waw instead of saying wa. Likewise in billah, you say bi, but when you mention it, you're saying al-ba instead of saying bi, right? كذلك in tallahi, you say ta, but when you mention it amongst the huruf, you say at-ta. So the question is, barakallahu fikum, why this difference? Why don't we say ka, bi, li, wa, bi, ta? Or when exactly are we supposed to use the harf's name instead of the way we pronounce it? Ahsant, barakallahu fiq. When it is composed of one harf, then it is the name of the harf that is mentioned instead of what is pronounced of that harf. So of the kaf, we said laysa kamithlihi shay'un. What part of kaf we pronounce ka? We just say ka with a fatha, right? But when you are referring to it, you will not say and the ka is the harf of tashbih. La, you will say al kaf is harf of tashbih. Likewise ba, marartu bi zaydin. Now, you only use the letter with one haraka B, but when you're referring to it, you will not say, and B is the harf jar, la, you will say al-ba harf jar. So when it is composed of one letter, that is when it is referred to with the name of that letter instead of how it is pronounced. Then we have some of the huruf al-jawab. And huruf al-jawab means when the huruf that you use in response, and na'am, we all know the meaning of na'am, and ajal also means yes. So ajal can be used as na'am, especially when you're agreeing with something. And bala is, taban la, we all know, bala is used with when someone asks a rhetorical question and you want to affirm what he's saying, or what he wants to, what the point that he wants to make. مثلا, alaysa kadhalik, isn't it? Alaysa kadhalik means isn't it? Alaysa kadhalik, if you give the answer to alaysa kadhalik, if you say na'am, this means na'am laysa kadhalik. Yes, it is not like that. But that's not what the other person wants from you. He wants you to affirm what he is negating in the question. When I say to you, isn't that the case? You say, yes, that is how the case is. But in Arabic, they have another word for it. They have the word bala. So bala is the word used to affirm what the other person wants you to affirm. Yani when he asks this rhetorical question that contains a negation. أليس كذلك? مثلا يعني أليس this happens يعني مثلا ألم أكن يعني if he asks you ألم أكن لك صديقا ألم أكن صديقا لك, was I not a friend to you? So you want to answer to him. If you want to say that you were not a friend to me, you will say نعم, yes, you were not a friend to me. And if you want to say no, yes, you were a friend to me, no, yes, you see, it's a bit of a mix-up. So no, yes, you were a friend to me, you will say bala, yes, bala, you were a friend to me, bala كنت صديقا لي. You see, so this is the word bala. This is yani special in Arabic. It is used whenever someone asks you a rhetorical question having a negation in it. Then you will say bala in order to affirm what he wants you to affirm and not negate what he has negated in the rhetorical question. واضح يا اخوان? And just one example, and you can just write this example, because in English we very often use isn't it. So isn't it is always for the next person to agree with you and say no, it is the way you're saying. You see, isn't it? So that's something that you will easily remember bala with if you write next to it, isn't it? Right. Then we have harfa al-istifham, the two harf of istifham, and hamza and hal, which are hamza and hal. Yani sometimes yani alaysa, just like we used here in our examples, alaysa kadhalik, hamza and hal also is used for istifham. Right. There were other things that were mentioned as asma al-istifham, kaifa and man and ma, but those are all asma al-istifham. These are huruf al-istifham. Right. Out of these, ya ikhwan, which ones are important? It's important to know that, because so that you can memorize them. Huruf al-jar are very important at this stage. So huruf al-atf will be important in a week's time, inshallah. Right now, just concentrate on huruf al-jar, huruf al-nasb. خليكم تاخذون صح. خذوا حروف العطف as well, حروف الجزم, and that's it for now. And from حروف النداء, ya and ay and hamza, take these. And so these are the 4 ones that are important for you to focus on. And from حروف النداء we said ya, ay, حروف الجواب, نعم, أجل, بلا. All of this is known to you. Bala is a bit maybe a little new, but an ajal is something that is new to you, so you can take this as well. And from harfa al-istifham, hal is already known. Hamza is something that you will have to focus on. طيب. إذا يا إخوان نقف هنا ونكتفي بهذا القدر، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك، نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت، نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. And inshallah from the next test onward بإذن الله تعالى سنشرع في القسم الثاني من مختصر النحو المفيد. And now we will inshallah start learning about the جملة, جملة فعلية and جملة اسمية بإذن الله تعالى. نكتفي بهذا. طيب، من عنده سؤال فله أن يسأل.
Sheikhna, a quick question. After the حروف الجزم, we mentioned a few حروف like ناسخة, مصدرية, حروف النداء, and all these. Do they have any effect on the i'rab? Because after حروف الجزم, we didn't say whether they will make anything mansoob or any other change in state.
Jamil, good question. We can just point that out. لحظة. حروف الناسخة, what effect they will have, we will discuss this later on. Right now, because we need to first learn what jumla is. حروف مصدرية, they do have an effect, and they not all of them, but an and anna are the ones that will make this will make the fi'l mansoob, and this will make the ism mansoob. But again, it's not the huruf masdariya as a whole that have an effect, because an and anna, they already belong to other categories. An belongs to the harf nasb category, and anna belongs to the harf nasikh category. That's why. So again, you can maybe ignore this as well. When it comes to huruf al-nida, we have a separate chapter for nida. يعني it's one of the منصوبات the منادى يعني, and how it works inshallah we will discuss that over there بإذن الله تعالى. But generally you can say that the ism after it is mansub, not the fi'l, the ism, because after harf al-nida there's always an ism. You're calling someone or something but not a fi'l, so the ism becomes mansub after harf al-nida. Huruf al-jawab, they don't have any effect. Huruf al-istifham, they don't have any effect. Now
جزاك الله خير.
بارك الله فيك. Any other questions يا اخوان؟ طيب نكتفي بهذا، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.